Hello, good evening everyone. We're just back from Mercia. Right, I actually want to chat about prostitutes. Right, there's a story at the end of this video, maybe not at the end of this video because it'll just run too long. So, thinking about all the bad girls here, all the bad girls that's actually scamming online. So we're back to scammers basically. So this is actually a scam video. And, thinking about all the bad girls, us foreigners are a joke. This is to the bad girls, not the good girls. This is what the bad girls think about us, we're a joke. I suppose hello Joe, we're just a Joe, aren't we, money? But you've got it, lovely girls. Right, I've been online for about 3 hours today, and just drives me crazy. And yeah, comments, not going to bother replying to comments. Unless it's a good comment, then I'll reply. So, I hope everyone's fine and doing well. Right, prostitutes here in the Philippines. It's not always what you think. Clark's Air Base in, outer Manila, good run outer Manila. It's quite a few cities. So, Jovelin tells me, and so basically Clark's Air Base, Americans are actually stationed in Clark's Air Base, and as far as I'm aware, make a comment if I'm wrong, as far as I'm aware, that's why, that's why prostitutes are actually in Angeles City, because of Clark's Air Base. But, now there's a lot of foreigners that actually visit Angeles City. Oh, I wish this, this phone, I'll chat about that. If it comes on again, I'll actually chat about it. Keep getting something flashing on and off my phone, and I think it's only for money, and I'll actually tell you how to clear your phone. Best way I've found to clear your phone. Right, so let's get back to Angeles City. It's really a crying shame, scams, so Angeles City, I hope I'm pronouncing it. I used to pronounce it Angel City. That's how I used to pronounce it, but I think it's Angeles City. Right, so prostitutes in Angeles City. Like I said, where is the scam is actually coming from, there's a lot of prostitutes, and not all these girls actually are bad girls. So you got a lot of bad girls that are prostitutes. Then what happens is, recruit the bad girls and the pimps and the nasty people. They recruit girls from all over the Philippines, mostly Manila, and now then, let me think of place, because I've actually forgot the place I wanted to chat about. Just one moment. I do apologise, I cannot think of the name, but I know the name, and for some reason I've just forgot it. Maybe because I've been rushing around. I hope I can actually remember the place, and I'll chat later on in the video. So, they recruit all these girls from around the Philippines, near to actual Angeles City. Like Manila, but Manila's not the one I want. And, what happens is, I'm sure it's near Leyte. Place I'm thinking about is very near to Leyte. And there's a lot of poor people there. And what happens is, no, not Tacloban. There's a lot of evil. There's a lot of evil out there, right? So what happens is, how they lure girls into prostitution. Like I said, a bad girl don't care. She's a prostitute. No big deal. She's just a bad girl. Simple. But how do they lure such a nice, respectable, poor girl into prostitution? Well, what they do is, they put ads online, then you got friends, and they said there's a cleaning job in Angeles City.
A helper.
Yeah, there's a cleaning job, or there's an helper in Angeles City. And what happens is, there is some evil buggers, and I can think of a lot more words, right? There is some evil out there, and God Almighty. So they recruit these really nice girls, the very poor girls. It just goes to show, and what happens is, they think they're going to be an helper, they think there's a job in a cafe, they think they're coming to get this job in a cafe or an helper or a maid, and what happens is, then they turn around and they said, there's no job being a maid, right? There's no job in a cafe, it's all lies to lure the girls to Angeles City. And what happens is, when the girls get there, they're just told, well, there ain't no jobs. And then, but we'll look and find you a job. Then what they do is they put them up. And they put them up with the prostitutes, the bad girls. And it's a sick world. And then the prostitutes obviously chat to these nice girls and, they groom them. So basically they're trying to, get these girls to be prostitutes. And basically that's what happens, they're talked into being prostitutes. Well, you're poor, what happens about your family, what happens about your babies, you've got no money, you're here now, you might as well be a prostitute, there's a lot of money in it. You can imagine evil swines. And this is how a lot of the girls become prostitutes. And once a girl becomes a prostitute, before you start, no, I haven't been with a prostitute. I have never been with a prostitute. Thank the Lord. I've had my old razor for about 6 months. I'm not joking. And I've been shaving for about 6 months. So now I've got a new one. So, where was I? So, it's a sick world, so to speak. These lovely girls, you've got these baddies and they're telling these girls, well, what will you do? Your mama's starving, you don't have any money. How will you send money to your baby? And then they're lured into being prostitutes. Yeah, I nearly slipped up. Some buggers around. Yeah, I do swear. And believe me, sometimes I swear bad. But, it's just the way of the world. Me swearing, I'm not talking about innocent girls being lured into prostitution. Lovely, sweet, very nice, naive girls, young girls, and they're lured into being a prostitute. Yeah, it's a bit sick. And what happens is, well, that's basically it. Now the prostitutes. And once, I should imagine, once a girl becomes a prostitute, and no, I haven't, so don't bother asking. And I should imagine she's now damaged, right? She's now damaged after a long, I'm sure she's damaged after being with a lot of Filipino guys, foreign guys, nasty guys, good guys. I'm sure now she's damaged. And she don't know what a good man is. But, it really is a crying shame. And I want to, as well as talking about that dirty big scam, I actually want to chat about orphans of the Philippines. Now, there's a lot more to it, right? A lot of these girls, these prostitutes, not all, right? We'll get to that. So a lot of these girls, these prostitutes, they have babies. They get pregnant, they have babies, right? And Joe buggers off back to his country, wherever the hell it is. Don't give a toss. No support. And what happens is, they give the babies up, and there's a sad story coming to this, but it probably won't be in this video. So they give the babies up, they give it to the relative, to the cousin, to the uncle, to the sister. Just give the baby up. They don't want the baby, and they're not prostitutes, so the baby's not good for them. But some of the prostitutes actually keep the baby, and then their mama helps to bring that baby up, and it's a never ending. Can't think of the word. It's a never ending evil. Probably not the best word, but so now you've got a girl and she's a prostitute, and all she's doing is she's paying and paying to feed a baby. So idea of becoming a prostitute is to earn money to support her family, but now she's actually got a family, and she's got to bring this baby up, right? She might have got more than one kid, but she's got to bring this baby up now, and that costs her. So it's like it's just an unnecessary evil. And so that's the reality, so these girls now, just a waste of time becoming a prostitute, waste of time trying to support your family, because now you've got one and you're just paying and paying and paying. And orphans of the Philippines, there are thousands and thousands of orphans, and a lot of these prostitutes just give the baby to the church, just give the baby to anyone. So even a lot of these orphans in the Philippines, they don't know the mama and they don't know the papa. But going back to the prostitutes, what bring the babies up, the kids up, that kid grows up without the papa, and the baby or the child, the kid, knows the papa's name, knows where the papa comes from, knows the country, knows the region, and knows a lot about his or her papa, because the mama spend, a month or so, or even longer, with this guy from America, from England, from Europe, wherever in the world, Germany, France, wherever. And I have actually seen this online quite a long time ago, please. I've actually seen kids at like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, younger, go online and they make a video like this, and it's, "Hi Papa, my name is such and so, I live in Angeles City, my papa's name is Mr. Razor. Yeah, so Mr. Razor is my papa's name. He lives in New Orleans, America. And, please, Papa, can you please get in touch with me?" So I've seen the please. And these kids want the papas to get in touch with them, okay? And a lot of them never do. So basically, they're orphans. And there's a lot more to it. So these orphans, well, you can imagine they grow up with a prostitute as a mama. So, some have a bad life, some have a good life. But, it's not your fault. This is to some of you guys that grow up with a prostitute, whether your mama, she's a nice lady and she bring you up in a good way and she bring you up the best she can. It's not your fault. If you hate your mama being a prostitute, you don't chat to your mama because your mama gave you away, but you know who your mama is, but you don't like your mama. It's not your fault. It's just not your fault your mama was a prostitute. She brings you into the world. It's not your fault, so don't blame yourself. It's just not your fault. Whatever people say. So, these prostitutes, right, just a moment, guys. So, these these kids actually grow up with different parents. Now, I might have time to actually chat about the story I want to chat about. So, once upon a time, there was a lovely looking girl